Hey friends, are you having an identity crisis and you're just trying to find yourself again after years of feeling like your identity existed only as someone's mom, someone's wife, or someone's employee? Are you ready to find yourself again and become the person you always wanted to be? Well, join me today as I discuss figuring out who you really are and how to choose your next yes in this new season of your life. Are you stressed and anxious at work and feel like your life is out of control? Do you want to work from home and own your own business and own your own time, but don't know what to do or how to do it? Do you have interests and passions you want to pursue, but feel like you're stuck in your 9 to 5? Are you ready to follow God's plan for your life? Welcome to Choose Your Best Yes. Maybe you keep trying different MLMs and other side hustles that don't seem to work, but you know there has to be a better way. In this podcast, you will learn to hear and listen to God's voice, calm the chaos in your work and personal life, and battle and win the war against stress and anxiety. Hi, Kindred. I'm Mel, a professional woman, entrepreneur, coffee, and Jesus lover. I've tried every MLM and other way possible to start my own business. And after trying to be someone I'm not for far too long and wasting a lot of time and money in the process, I finally realized those paths didn't use my gifts, talents, and skills and were not the path that God has laid out for me. I finally stopped listening to the world's view of success and started listening to Him and following His blueprint for my career. And now my mission is to empower you to dig deep and know when to say yes to the things that God wants you to and no to everything else. Let me help you learn to move forward and pursue your passions and stay emotionally healthy while doing it. Imagine working from home in a career you love and scheduling your entire day your way. If you're ready to ditch that unfulfilled life for the life God meant for you and get your message out into the world, then you're in the right place. Kindred, let me show you how to calm the chaos in your life and pursue your true passions with an online business you love. Use your God-given gifts and talents and persevere toward your personal and professional goals. Grab your coffee, notebook, and pen and relax in your favorite spot. Kindred, it's time to take notes and grow yourself God's way. We all have many different seasons that we go through in our lifetime. Those next phases or next seasons may be something like being an empty nester, which is a phase that I am just about in, or you may be close to being that. I hate calling it empty nester because it's just not a term that I love, but that's what the rest of everybody calls us, so I'll go with it. Or you may be changing jobs or careers or getting ready to or hoping to. You may be moving to a new place, which may be a new city. It may just be a new house. It could be a new country. Whatever it is, you're relocating. Or you may be getting a divorce. Or you may be getting married or remarried. No matter what that event is, it's a life-changing event. And regardless of whether it is a positive event or a not so positive event, you may be experiencing some different feelings or emotions. You could be experiencing grief. As your children grow older and they move away from home and you end up alone without kids, and you've not been alone without kids for at least 18 years, depending on how many kids you have. It could be over 20 years. You may feel a sense of sadness or loss. And some people may even experience some of the 5 stages of grief. There's an emptiness. You may feel like you are just like, you just don't know what to do with yourself. You don't feel like you maybe have a purpose anymore, that you are no longer someone's wife if you have gotten a divorce. Or even if you're just changing jobs or careers. You know, when I left the classroom, I had a sense of loss because Even though I was ready to move into a different phase of my educational career and move into leadership, I loved being with kids and being in the classroom and decorating my classroom. And it was a sense of loss for me. And it took me a long time to be able to say, hey, can you go to my office? And I kept calling it my classroom. Hey, go to my classroom. I don't have a classroom. No, it's my office. And so there's a sense of loss, even with it being a joyful event. You may also experience fear or worry about the uncertainty of what's going to happen, but there's also good stuff. You may have a renewed hope in things that you thought you didn't have hope for anymore, like taking time for yourself. You may have excitement in that new career. Even though I had a sense of loss not being in a classroom, I had a super amount of excitement for my new phase as being a principal. And then there can be renewal. You find your second wind. You are rediscovering yourself. When my son was on the swim team, we had shirts made, and I bought one and I put Vandevort's mom on the back of it. And someone made a comment about them not having their own identity anymore. They were someone's mom. And I was laughing at him. And then I'm like, wait, the back of my shirt says Vandevort's mom. I didn't even have my own name on there. And so, sometimes your identity is, you feel like you are defined by your role. I felt maybe like I was defined by being someone's mom or being someone's wife or being a teacher. But those are not your definition. Those are things you do. They're your life choices. They're what shape you, but they don't necessarily define you because they're ever changing. Your roles are always changing. So you are never defined by that. The only thing I truly define myself as is a daughter of God. Yes, I am someone's daughter, but I don't play that role all the time. I always hope that I play the role of being God's daughter, and that people will always see that no matter what season of life I am. And I'm not playing the role. That is who I truly am. I am always going to be God's daughter. So anyway, I got a little off track there. But my point was, you are not defined by your life choices, whether they are good or bad. We've all made bad choices. Those do not define who we are. You can be a wonderful person, make a bad choice, but you are not defined by that choice. You just made a bad choice. You are still defined other ways. You make a lot of good choices. I always choose a word of the year, and this year I actually chose two, and that was reset and transformation. And for me, that is resetting my thinking and transforming my life this year. And that's my career, my relationships, my home. I hope to not live in my new apartment for very long because it's very cramped in here. Even though it's supposed to be bigger, it feels smaller. So I'm hoping to redefine that or transform that and get a new home that's much bigger. If you want to learn how to choose your own word of the year, go to episode 16, which is choosing your word of the year, how to focus yourself in 2023. And of course, I will link that in the show notes for you so it's easy to get to. When your children are adults and they are making their own way in the world, you have the opportunity to be who you've always wanted to be. You could right now in this season of your life start by having a career reset. As a mom, you may have just worked at a job that you didn't want to because really you didn't have an option. You didn't have an option to go to school, or you may have just needed to pay the bills, or you just needed to do something that was flexible so you could be available for your kids when they got off school or whatever the case may be. So you really haven't had time to focus on your own career and what you want to do and the pursuit of a career that you really want to do. Recently, I've been talking to moms of either older teens who are about to move out of the house or moms who have adult children that have already moved out. And one of the things that I found is that right now they're ready to focus on their own career and do what they want to do and figure out what it is that God is telling them to do in their career. The question is, how do you find yourself again and become that person that you always wanted to be? I feel like the empty nest group is getting a little bit younger, and they still have many solid work years before retirement, which gives you plenty of time to go back to school and get that degree that you've always wanted. Or maybe you really do not want to go back to school and have homework and do all of that, but you would really like to take a course that's very specific for something and turn that into a new career. Recently, I think I've mentioned this before, but I took an instructional design course. It was very interesting to me. I have a passion for that kind of work. It meshed well with what I'd already been doing as a teacher because teachers are instructional designers by trade. And so I took the course, which opened a door for me and gave me the opportunity to do some instructional design work for someone in my local area. It's not my full-time career right now, but I love the work and it gives me a little bit of extra cash, which I am using to pay for another course that I am interested in, which is a podcasting course, because I am by far the best podcaster out there, and I want to learn to be a much better podcaster for you all. But you also may not want to do anything like that. You may not want to take a course. You may not want to go back to college, but you have all these wonderful skills that you could turn into something else. There are so many different things that you can do online. You can be a virtual assistant. You can do graphic design on the side, or maybe even as your full-time career. Maybe there's something that you've always wanted to do. You just weren't in a position to be able to pursue that. That could be something like nursing or being a social worker. All right, funny story and a little bit of an aside. You remember just a few seconds ago when I said I am not the world's best podcaster? Well, my microphone got unplugged during a little chunk of my episode. So you may notice that some of my words are a little less clear and a little less rich than the rest of it. So please ignore that. I cannot go back and recreate that because I'm only going off of an outline and I'm waiting for the Holy Spirit to give me the words. So I won't be able to tell you the exact same things if I go back and try to recreate that. So I'm going to leave it and hopefully it's not too distracting. So now back to the episode. When you're trying to figure out who you really are and how to choose or what your next yes is that you're going to choose in regards to your career, you're struggling with that. Well, you're not alone. Most of the people that I talk to, most of the women that I talk to, they just are not sure what God is telling them to do right now in this next season of life. They have ideas of what they like and they know what their passions are and what they want to pursue, but they're not sure exactly what that thing is that God's telling them. And one thing that I have found is that the enemy gets in the way a lot. He plants seeds of doubt, for one thing, and he's done that a lot with me in the last few years. Another thing that he does is he takes your time. He gets in your way when you're trying to get something accomplished. Taking a podcast course and learning how to be a better podcaster and monetize my podcast. And we have different sessions that we have to attend on certain days, and they fall during my school day. And it falls every week during a time where I am scheduled to be somewhere else in school. So it's not during one of my times where I have a little bit of play in my schedule. Nope, it falls right during the lunch hour. Normally, that wouldn't be a problem. I could switch lunch duties and do lunch duty for someone on a different day and let them take my day. But the last 2 weeks, the person that I could switch with has not been available. And so the enemy is confusing that time. But there's always a way around that. I just pray about it. I make sure that I go to as much of the session as I can before and after. And then, of course, thank goodness it's on replay. So thank goodness that where I'm taking the podcast course, They have foreseen all of the possible ways that the enemy can get in the way, and they've created a way around that. So always look for a way out or a better solution or a solution, period. One thing that the ladies that I talk to, they are just seeking clarity from God. So seek clarity, but be patient and don't push it. He's got a plan. And it's funny how he will plant different nuggets, and it's not always about the destination. Remember that. Sometimes it's about the journey getting there. My journey has taken me on all of these little different paths that has led me to the podcasting course to learn how to be hopefully an excellent podcaster and be able to monetize my podcasting course so I can work remotely or work from home and have more flexible time. When I say don't push it, however, I am simply meaning don't choose something just because it sounds good and then just go all out for that. What I'm saying is think about the things you want to do, where your passions lie, what your skills are, your talents, and then take action. Like start looking and searching and praying, but be patient in your pursuit. Again, it's the journey. Like I said, I wanted to do something remote. That was what I wanted to do so I could have more flexible time. I didn't know what that looked like necessarily. I started praying. I started searching. I was listening to podcasts. I was checking on different courses. I did the instructional design course, which led me somewhere else. And all of these things are tools in my bucket, or tools in my toolbox, I should say, but they are leading me somewhere else. He has the final destination for you, my friends, but you cannot just sit and wait. You cannot plan a trip to wherever you want to go and then not take action to get there. God's going to help you get to that destination, but you have to get in the car or on the plane or whatever it is to get to that destination. So pick your destination maybe. Mine was, I want to work from home. I want flexible time. Some of you may be, I want to do something where I can serve others or help others. Or some of you may say, I want to do something in the medical field. Even though you have that specific thing, medical field, education, whatever that is, give him the power to lead you there in the direction he wants you to go. I hope today's show was a blessing to you as you continue on your path toward everything God has in store for your life and in choosing your next yes. As always, may your conversation always be full of grace and seasoned with salt. God bless you, my friends. If you enjoyed today's content, please hop on over to Apple Podcasts and leave me a 5-star rating and a review. That's the only way I know which content you enjoy, and it helps me to grow the show.